BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. We apologise for the slight delay. We had a few technical issues today. I hope you can see and hear us. Could you let us know in the comment section? I do apologise for the delay. It was simply because of some technical issues that we were having. I hope the lighting is also better. Someone said to us that the lighting was a bit dark, so we've changed the lighting. I hope that's better. Let me know if that's okay. Okay, we are supposed to be joined by our guest. Let's see if she's able to join us. Hello.
It's doing that same thing. We both open the link.
I don't understand why it's happening like that with you. You should just be pressing on it and it comes automatically through.
Yes, I know.
All right, let's try copying the link instead of sending an invite. Hang on a sec. BlaXit family, I'm sorry for the delay. We're just trying to add our guest. Um, Copy the link. Do you mean copy to clipboard? Sorry, hang on a sec. I'm having an issue. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Who's that? Okay, that feels comfortable now. So tell me, how have you been? How has your week been? Of BlaXit family, BlaXit family. Welcome to BlaXit. If you are new to our channel, thank you for joining our Sunday live stream, which we do every Sunday. And we do this every Sunday at usually 4 p.m. Last week we had a little bit of a change of schedule because of a situation with a friend of mine. So, but welcome, BlaXit family. Thank you for joining us. BlaXit is a portmanteau, which is a word which is blended using two words, black and exit. And that describes exactly what we're about, which is the exit of black people from the West back to the best, and that is Africa. I am Nyancho Kajabi, aka Juliet. I am your host today, and I am a repatriational specialist. And today we're supposed to have a guest, but we're having a problem sharing that. So we might have to go by video call from my other phone again. But my screen's a bit cracked, so it might not look so great. Um, so BlaXit is about leaving the West and returning back to Africa. It's about making the full circle because our ancestors were taken, by force, if you like, in the most horrendous and most evil and most wicked and most horrendous, most, what did they say, gravest crime against humanity when they were enslaved and forced into enslavement, which is what many of our ancestors were. And once they were forced into enslavement to work for free to enrich those European nations, those nations whose countries are wealthy and leading in the economic empire of the West, as we call it today, whilst they've left Africa unfixed and definitely without justice and certainly without reparations. So, BlaXit Sunday Lives, we do focus on other issues, not just reparations, not just repatriation. I came to the Gambia. I came to the Gambia to live permanently and to make Gambia my home. I've been coming here for over. Okay, she sent me another number. One sec. Kath, she sent me another number. Can you do this for me, please? I'm sorry, I need the assistance of my son because this is his phone. Actually, this is not my phone. I started to use his phone because his phone is much better than mine. I'm old school, so I keep it old school. But welcome to Willie Rivers. Thank you for joining, and also Jenny Hepard. This is BlaXit. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, she sent another number. Can you send it to another number? It's live, so you might want to just okay. Subi, do you have the link? Hello?
I've got the link.
Try it now.
I'm trying to open it.
I don't understand. She should just press on it and it should just come through like everybody else. Have you got anything, any blockers on your phone?
I'm using a different phone now.
Yeah, okay. Have you got any ad blockers or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. If it is blocked, it might be a problem. And this is another phone. So let me just see if I can get it through this.
Yeah, go into your settings and see, make sure that you've got no blocks. I'll have a glass of water. I'm sorry, BlaXit family. But anyway, so much has been going on. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. While we wait for Subi, let's get into it. Okay. So the ICC, which is the International Courts of Sacred Justice, International Courts of Justice. Sorry. Let me just take the volume down. Hang on a sec, sorry. So yeah, let's get into it. So I was saying that I find it really bizarre. I'm sure you will as well. I'll just fill you in on what's been going on. As you know, the Gambia has going through we're going into elections, and a lot of people are, you know, out there rallying. I'll give you more information about what's been happening. It's been quite interesting, and I'm going to use the opportunity to approach the situation about citizenship, as I think we should. Okay. I think we should also talk about this. So, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, very important areas. particularly with regard to Sahel, especially with regard to the fight for our African liberation from the West, from the colonial people that think that they still have this protectorate control over Africa. We spoke about the protectorate last week. I hope you remember. And while we were talking about that, the court has tried to criticize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso for withdrawing from the International Criminal Court, which is called the ICC. Now, the ICC have in the past had a reputation for being so hang on a sec. I just got a message. Can you send that message through to this phone, please, Sabi? Because I can't see while I'm live on this phone. So I was saying that the send it here. Mhm. Yeah, so the ICC have been critiqued heavily because for being biased and for targeting African countries. And if you know, you know, it has been going on, and there has been an anti-African bias or persecution. And the majority of the investigations actually initiated, you know, uh, over and by European countries who love to put the emphasis and, if you like, the attention on African countries to deflect away from what they're actually doing in their own countries. And of course, this is the same thing that is happening time and time again. So, there are countries which aren't a member of the ICC, which are even now in a war with other countries. Okay. Now, the thing is that the non-African countries which have been persecuted are almost the same number as the African countries which have been persecuted, right? And let me just tell you, Israel is not a member of the International Criminal Court, okay? Although they signed up to the Royal Rome Statute in 2000, it never ratified the treaty, and formally it withdrew its signature in 2002. Okay, so you know exactly what's going on with Israel and what they're doing currently. Now, America, United States, also expressed concerns, and so did I think India, Indonesia, and China. And on May the 6th, 2002, the United States, having previously signed the Rome Statute, formally withdrew its signature and indicated that it did not intend to ratify the agreement. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Because who's criticizing them? Who is going against them? I don't see anybody going to take formal action against those nations. So why are they going against African countries? So the International Service for Human Rights, they always put it as human rights. But why aren't they observing our human rights for reparations and for restitutional justice? Why aren't those rights being observed? It's very, very strange. Well, not strange, it's racism. And it's always the same racism. So, Uganda, uh, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, and Mali. This is back in 2012. Let me just put it all into context. Democratic Republic of Congo was in 2004, and Uganda was in 2004. Mali was in 2012. Sudan, the Darfur region, was referred by United Nations in 2005. Libya referred by United Nations Security Council in 2011, and Kenya um, was opened by the ICC prosecutor in 2010. And that was after the country failed to hold domestic trials in 2007 and 2008 for post-election violence. And the Ivory Coast opened the ICC prosecutor in 2011 after the country accepted the ICC jurisdiction, and Burundi was opened by the ICC prosecutor in 2017. Now, if you ask me, do we think that African nations now need the ICC, the International Criminal Court? Okay. Gabon requested an investigation apparently in 2016, but only resulted in a re-examination. Okay, so those are the ones. Okay, now what is it supposed to do and how is it supposed to act? Now, the ones that are non-African, listen to how many are non-African. Okay, so this is to show you the unfairness. Okay, non-African situations under formal ICC investigation. Georgia opened in 2016 regarding the 2008 Russia-Georgia war. Bangladesh and Myanmar opened in 2019 regarding the forced deportation of Rohingya Muslims. Afghanistan opened in 2020 regarding crimes by the Taliban, Afghan forces, and US military personnel. Okay, State of Palestine opened in 2021 regarding action by both Israeli forces and Hamas. And Philippines opened in 2021 regarding the extrajudicial killings in the war on drugs. And Venezuela, the country which has just suffered horrendous earthquakes, multiple earthquakes. In fact, to mention Venezuela, I do send out my condolences to all of those. We know we have many brothers and sisters in Venezuela that have suffered a loss, and also, you know, my condolences to those that have lost a loved one during the Venezuelan earthquakes. And as I explained, I'm not sure if I said last week, but it was been the first major earthquake, I think, since 1812, 125 years. And certain people, especially the ex-president Chavez of Venezuela, talks about the fact that he felt that the US had a machine which they used with HARP, and another machine which they used to create earthquakes. And he said it with confidence, and he put it in the LA Times as I had posted online. So I would like you to take that into consideration. Venezuela opened in 2021 regarding state security forces crushing political protests. And then, of course, there's Ukraine, which opened in 2022 regarding the Russian invasion, regarding the high-profile arrest warrants for Russian officials. And Lithuania, or Belarus, opened as a preliminary investigation or examination and was upgraded to investigate crimes against humanity and cross-border deportation. And the main people have been Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, and Min Aung Hlaing, the military junta leader of Myanmar. So consider that that's the whole world, the whole world. How can Africa have more? When you calculate it, because some of them are investigations, how can Africa have more international criminal persecutions? And so, does Africa really need the International Criminal Court, or can we handle this by ourselves? So, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Nigeria have started the legal process to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, ICC, distancing themselves from the Western-backed institution. The countries accuse the ICC of neo-colonial bias and selective persecution of African states while ignoring powerful countries. The ICC warns that these withdrawals could undermine global justice and their obligations from their time as members still apply. This move is a part of a broader shift by the three nations that have already cut ties with France and left ECOWAS and strengthened allies with other countries. Now, is ICC just another interference? Is ICC just another control for African countries, or is it really needed to balance out, let's just say, skirmishes or interference, or let's say terrorist activities? Does it really work? Because Israel has been on Palestine's case for so long, yet he still reigns freely. So how does that work? Sending love from Toronto. Thank you very much, GoWinder42. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining BlaXit. I'm now going to try and bring Subi on the phone because we are going to talk about the issues in South Africa, because while all this was happening, a new law was passed. That's right. And we're going to talk about this new law. And I warned everybody about the fact that this March on March, this whole Afrophobia that was going on was a deterrent, was divergence. And it was. It's divergence. And as I put in the article, if you've been reading our articles on the community page, I talk about this protest that's going to be happening on the 26th of September by none other than white South Africans who are going to march to Washington, apparently with 3,000 crosses, to talk about what's happened to them being dispossessed of their land. And it wasn't their land to begin with. And this is why I say, while they've got us fighting ourselves, they're organizing. And they're trying to take over the whole of South Africa. That is what is really going on. The whites are really trying to take over the whole of South Africa. Now, I don't know why Sabi can't get the link. I don't know why she can't open the link. I'm able to open the site. It must be your browser. So I'll do a video call. And then I'll share it by video call. That's okay. So let's see if I can get on the phone. Let me tell you what's really going on. Because also, while certain things have been shown in the media, someone who actually lives in South Africa is not seeing it. So there's some kind of media play as well. Because she said to me, while this was going on, I sent her this information showing all of these protests and stuff. And I said to her, you know, you live in Cape Town. Can you show me what's actually going on? But guess what? It reminds me of the swine flu. She wasn't able to find it. She's not answering. I'm still calling her. So she wasn't able to see what they were showing in the media, which made me wonder. But it reminds me of when I went to Mexico many years ago. And at the time, there was a swine flu epidemic. And my daughter and I, we flew into Mexico City, and we didn't see any swine flu. It was very bizarre that the Western media had been scaring us all with the swine flu. And we actually flew into Mexico where we expected to see everybody wearing masks, everybody dying of swine flu. And in fact, it was business as normal, business as usual. I'm not going through to his answer. We're having issues now. Anyway, so she's been on the ground. And so I wanted her to tell you this new law which has been passed in South Africa, which is dispossessing people of their land. And what did we say was going to happen? While they've got us fighting each other, throwing each other out of South Africa for what? For what? How many times have we covered South Africa? And while we talked about South Africa, what did I mention? I mentioned about the fact that we should be nationalizing those industries that are controlled by the whites. We should be taking back control. But it's as though there's a fear. In fact, I even saw a white South African saying, attack us. Ha 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 ha. I've even got footage where there was a covering a rally, and I was watching this rally, and something strange happened. As I was watching this rally, I saw this man, let me find it. I saw this man, right? This white man just walking freely in the rally. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see. You see this man here? Oops. This man here? He was just walking freely in the rally while they're going and they're targeting their own black people. He even smiled for the camera. Look, there he is. I hope you can see that. Right there, while we're targeting each other, taking pictures. He's actually watching us and he's taking pictures. There he is again during the protest while we're targeting each other. And he's able to, walk freely while they're protesting against their brothers and sisters. I've never seen anything so ridiculous in my whole entire life. And the white people are the ones that are responsible for the dispossession, for the problems that they have today. Why are they targeting other Africans? It's not other Africans. The ultimate crimes, the ultimate murders, and the ultimate apartheid was caused by whites. So I find it quite ridiculous. I will try her again because I would love for her to tell you exactly what's really going on in South Africa. Oh, it's such a shame because I had this lined up. I was really hoping that it would work this time. But yeah, it's just absolutely preposterous. And then I saw the the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, come out and say, oh, the only people that can talk about and officiate immigration is the government and the immigration department. So why are they allowing these so-called marches? And why have they been escalated to the point? Now, before I told you about Rent-A-Mob, I was not joking when I spoke about Rent-A-Mob. And these are people which are paid. And as you know, there was a big issue about unemployment and issues around actors being unemployed in South Africa. Now, there's been a lot, what it seems to be, of Rent-A-Mob. And, they're doing it to destabilize South Africa. Why are they trying to destabilize South Africa? They're destabilizing South Africa because they want the land. I don't know if you know, but there are hundreds and thousands of white people in South Africa. Do you know the white population in South Africa? I don't think a lot of people realize, right? The levels of white people in South Africa, right? Look at this. I actually found it myself. Where was it? I was shocked. I wrote it somewhere. One sec. The European people of European descent, okay, right? It's roughly 4.5 million people, white people in Africa, in South Africa, is 4.5 million people. That's the, and that's the current demographics. Okay, now the whole of South Africa has about 63 million people there, but it's not just, they're not all just. What I'm trying to say is that this is Africa and this is our motherland. This is our homeland. Hi, sending love. Okay, Selena 713. More Europeans have gone over there since the last 6 years, since 2020, Selena. So they want more space for themselves to take over. This is what is happening, but we are allowing it because the same people that will defend you, the same people that will fight for you, for your land, you are now dispossessing them of their own land, of their own living, and dispossessing yourself of those same jobs that they're bringing in. None of it makes any sense. So I actually think that there is a lot more behind it. And Subi had the facts. That's why I'm trying to get her. Subi is in South Africa, and it's not just happening to other African nations, it's actually happening to indigenous South Africans as well. And this is why I wanted her to discuss the new law. I will try again to see if I can get her in. So her internet might be down. Oh, it's ringing. We'll keep trying. Sylvie, if you, I'm calling you. If you're watching, please answer the call. I haven't got your other number in this phone. So Selena said, so they want more space for themselves to take over. Sorry. Ayo Afua said, when you control the mind, you control the behavior. Oh my gosh, it is so true. I've been reading this book. Can I just grab some books and come back to you? I'll be back in a minute, right? 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. I just quickly grab them. I meant to show you. I've been reading this book, right? And it's called Using Existential Counseling to Heal. Yeah? Using sorry, leave the chair back in. Existential Counseling to Heal. It's by Elili Afi, Elila Afi. Very interesting book. Very, very interesting book. And it talks about the philosophy of existentialism, okay? And it's a name given to a counseling theory that can be used by individuals or groups in training or institutions to benefit adults in personal development and healing. And healing is something that I think we really need, especially when we're leaving the West and we're coming back to Africa, because we don't realize how damaged and conditioned we are. You know, it widely recognizes that if societies are to be changed, learning needs to be a lifelong program. But it's a very, very good book. If you order it, do try and get it. It's a very, very good book by Ali. See, look, that's it, from Ali. Anyway, and then I spoke to you the other day. We were talking about. I found it. Yeah, this is the book that you have to read. Okay, by Kredu Mutua. Okay, it's called Zulu Shaman, Dreams, Prophecies, and Mysteries by Kwamazulu Kredu Mutua. Okay, it's called Zulu Shaman. This is the book that I was looking for that I said to you about sharing. It's a very, very good book if you can get it. Okay, it's a very, very good book. Okay. So I just wanted to show you. I know I said that I would find it. I literally found it. But it's a book that when we were talking about ancient ancestral contact. And do you remember I showed you the ostrich people from South Africa? Well, this book is a good guide, and it talks about what actually happened to him, which is an interesting experience. So if you could get it, finally tuned in. Thank you so much, Mahogany Spirit 2885. Thank you, Nature and Me 6264. Okay. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining. So we were talking about two things. I think that Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have taken the right stance with regard to the ICC. I think it's just another external method of control to destabilize our governments and also to control them and imprison them. So when we do get good leaders, we lose them because they can put their own, oh, they're doing that. They're anti-humanitarian, or by ours, or they're anti-homosexuality, or they're anti this, and then they can go in after them. I don't know what your thoughts are. Do let me know. We need healing that includes a rite of passage so that we can shed our internalized racism, which is self-hatred. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that actually. And there is another book by Maladoma Patrice, which is in my bookcase over there, which I'd love to share, which is another good book, and I think it's called Community. It's a very good book for that. I don't know how to get through. Been trying. Ah, Sabi. I don't know if the network with South Africa is giving us some situational problems here. But if anything, Sabi, call me back because I've tried her a few times now and I'm not getting through. So, what do you think? Do you think that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are correct in withdrawing from the International Criminal Court? Do you think it's just another weapon that can be used against countries which want to step out of European control, out of the protectorate control? What do you think? Out of colonial control? Tell me your thoughts. I would love to hear them in the comment section, please. That would be very good. And also, okay, let's have a read. Yeah, okay. So they don't want Africans in Europe, but at the same time, they want to immigrate and take over lands of Africa. Yeah. Afri-bias in South Africa is too narrow-minded. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. To see it, I agree with the AES, and we need the best of our ancestral ways. I agree, actually. And like I said, we do have posts that we put on the community page. If you don't know how to find it, you go across. Ooh, I'm not sure if you can see. Okay, you go across, okay, to BlaXit, and then you'll see that it has video, shorts, live, and playlists. Ooh. And then you see posts, which is highlighted there now. You can see it, and then you go down, and then you can see our post for today is buy black. Yeah, you buy black today. Where you spend your money does make a difference. That is the post that is there today. And then before that, there was another post. You see me just relaxing there. Okay, there's a message to the vigilante. This is what I said. There's a message to the vigilante Afrophobic activists in South Africa. Whilst we fight among ourselves, the whites are taking over your country and humiliating you using new laws to displace you. What new laws am I talking about? I left a link there for you to follow. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'll press it. And the link will take you to this new law, which was shared to me, and it's in the law library, which was shared to me by Subi or the COSAN people. And it's called Commonage by Law 2026. Okay. And there's the preamble in it. about the Cedarburg municipality, etc., and the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And it has various sections, and of course, it has the definition of words, etc. Now, it's a lot for me to go through in one short program, but it does have some things that I need to share with you. Okay. The purpose of this bylaw is to provide for the control and administration of communage land. Yeah, this is what it says. To provide for the conservation of communage through prohibition of damaging vegetation, bird or vegetable life, right? Removal of any material and the unlawful occupation of the communage. Now, what they call the communage? The communage are lands that are occupied by who? The indigenous peoples. And what are they doing now? What are they saying that the indigenous peoples of South Africa cannot do? They cannot erect any hut, shelter, or kraal, habitational structure of any kind, nor occupy camp or any portion of the communage or in any street, road, thoroughfare, or public place without the consent of the municipality. Now, can you imagine that you have your land, which has been given to you by your ancestors? You have been living there for how many years, untouched, and all of a sudden, this land is now called communage. And then your structures that you've had on there, are destroyed by the government. Okay, and this is what is happening. And white judges are passing it. This is what is happening in South Africa. You can go and look at the law. It's the Communage Law, Bylaw 2026. Okay, it's right there. You can see Communage Law 2026, South Africa. So this is it. While we're fighting, they're taking the land. Literally, there's the proof. They're taking the land, and they're in the municipality, they're in the government, they're in the courts of law, they're everywhere. They're in seats in South African life, in South African lawmaking. It was a white judge who, made the judgment against Julius Malema. It's white laws. And so, regardless of whether you're the majority, it's the people that are making the decisions. Okay? And it's there in black and white. Look, no person on the communal shall dig or remove soil, clay, sand, or gravel or boulders without being in possession of a valid current permit. Now, they weren't saying that when the whites came and they, took all the diamonds and the emeralds and all of the, precious metals from the earth. This is exactly what it is. AFO has said that they are experts at divide and conquer. And what do they use? Laws. They use laws, they use rules, they use the same system over and over and over again. And you know what? He talks about this. You have to read this book, okay? Crowdy Mutua, he talks about this. In fact, Crowdy Mutua also predicted what is going on right now on YouTube. Crowdy Mutua, he actually predicted it. And I think we need to talk more about our own prophecies, okay? And so please, if you can, try and get this book, Zulu Shaman, Dreams and Prophecies and Mysteries, okay, by Crowdy Mutua. Try and get this book, okay? I'll just read to you the back of this book. And the reason why I'm saying this is because what I'm seeing in South Africa is something that's creeping on in other African countries. Namibia has over 300,000 white people living in Namibia in a population of just 2 million. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They talk about all these blacks being in England, but there's less than 12% of the population are black living in England. And look at what they're doing. We're not the we're not the majority living in England. You're not the majority living in America. We are not the majority. But they are becoming the majority in certain places in Africa. And unless we, as African descendants, start to rebalance things out and start to come back to our home, this is the reason why they've got them doing all this, anti-African rhetoric BS, is because they're just trying to create divide and rule fraction. As I said before, that's exactly what they do. Let me say hello to you, Joseph and Liliani Resurrection. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Liliani. Thank you so much. And they've been doing it. I remember Liliani Resurrection actually sent me something about jitters. I think, was it jitters? I think it's called jitters, something that they use, which was an insect which they imported and to Kenya to make the people sick. They have been doing this. They have been doing this. And we know that they've created AIDS. We know that they've created so many things. We all know that the whole COVID thing was a whole hoax. Everybody knows what's going on. We know that they just wanted you to take the injection because they wanted to put certain nanobots inside your body. Yeah, exactly. Our unity, no matter how small, is necessary. But we need to what? Heal. Okay. There's this other book that I was talking about. I've been reading. In fact, my head was so in the book today. my head was so in the book today that I nearly I was slightly late because I was just reading about it because accidental is talking about what makes you exist, what makes you live, what makes you go, what makes you flow. And it's very, very interesting. So I want you to go and look at this law, the communal law, bylaw of 2026 in South Africa. So if you don't think that they're going to now control the lands, control what they do on the lands, control how they can live on the lands, and then take those lands from indigenous South Africans, that's exactly what they're doing. Okay? And I put, whilst you clear your brothers and sisters that can defend you out of the way, they organize protests in Washington, D.C. against you. A public demonstration and memorial, listen to this, memorial, yeah, featuring 3,000 white crosses. Now, what does that remind you of? Ku Klux Klan. And I'm telling you this, yeah, the Ku Klux Klan did not die out. The Ku Klux Klan still exists today, In fact, I even think that Donald Duck is still very much ahead of it. The head of the United Snakes. Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan is still here. And this is why they're going to America, to the head of the Ku Klux Klan. And they want to burn white crosses. They said 3,000 white crosses. And so I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, on the 26th of September, I want us to go with our black crosses. Let 1 million black crosses go there for every person, a child, adult that died as a result of slavery and apartheid. Let's go and grieve our ancestors. Let's go and grieve what's happening to us today. Police killings, police shootings, lynchings. All of the things that are happening to us, all of the crimes that we haven't committed that we're being imprisoned for. All of the CODIS systems. They use this CODIS system of DNA to now use it to try and track people for crimes of years ago. And it is not a perfect system. But they're using it to imprison our black men. They're using this coding system. If you're arrested, you refuse to give your DNA. Let me warn you, because they're holding it and will use it against you and can even fit you up for crimes in the future should you become an activist. I'm just telling you that, especially in America, my brothers and sisters, the code is CODIS. Yeah, and they use the codex system in which to store and use our DNA, which some of you might not even know about, is done when you go for medical tests. Now, listen, I'm serious. You know, we're in serious times. Now, you know, they're saying that the sun, you know, oh, this heat wave, they said over 1,003 people have died, you know, because of the heat. But they're not dying in South Africa because of the heat. They're not dying in Africa because of the heat. They're saying it's sun poisoning. Is it really? Why did they shut off CERN, the Hydro Collider? I want you to look at certain things. I will talk about a little bit more about CERN next week, because all of these things are colliding. The use of HARP, right, heats up the ionosphere. All of these earthquakes and natural disasters, you think they're all natural? As natural as COVID. Anyway, like I said, whilst you clear your brothers and sisters that can defend you out of the way, they organized protests in Washington, D.C. against you. A public demonstration, or so-called memorial, I don't like that word, yeah, featuring 3,000 white crosses is planned for the 26th of September on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., organized by the South African think tank Lex Liberatus and the New York Young Republican Club, the White Cross Project. Okay, this is no more than KKK. This is no more than KKK in 2026. They claim that it aims to bring attention to farm murders. Farm murders. What about all of the Black South Africans that have been murdered? What murders are they talking about? People taking back their land, taking back what's rightfully theirs, taking back their ancestral land by force if needed. Why aren't they talking about the murders of these young Africans that have been murdered because of the terrible, terrible enforced programming and conditioning that has happened to South Africans now? Their South Africans now fear white South Africans. Did I say white South Africans? White Europeans. Sorry, that was a slip of the tongue because I was reading this. Yeah, you know, like I said, these are white Europeans. They're European descendants. They're not Africans. Okay. And they're saying that they are the white minority. This is about, they want to bring attention to, you know, issues around the farms and to push for self-governance. What about our self-determination? What about our reparations from apartheid? Where's the reparations from them for apartheid? Where is it? This is hypocrisy. I get really annoyed. I get really annoyed when I see our own people turning on our own people whilst these issues are going on. They're not looking at the real culprits. They need to wake up, shake up, and realize that they're being used as pawns. And innocent people are dying. Innocent people are dying while they're being whipped up into a frenzy. While they have their private hospitals and their private members clubs and their private yacht clubs. Come on, wake up. Anyway, the event will feature a public conference, apparently, yeah, with personal testimonies and presentations of a petition targeting the US government. What has the US government got to do with South Africa? Okay, Lignani Resurrection says Mandela. Okay, let me go back. Sorry, I'm going to read your comments. I apologize. Okay, so Mahogany Spirit 2885 says England has become extremely hostile towards dark-skinned blacks now, and it's becoming increasingly toxic. especially in South London. I've got no surprise. And they're trying to turn all our men to batty men into becoming homosexuals as well in England. That's why I say get out and come back to Africa. I'm a repatriationist. That's what BlaXit does. BlaXit helps you to get out and come back to Africa. We'll help you to find that house, build that house, get your land. Okay, we're going to have new repatriation land. And the new repatriation land is going to be incredibly reasonable. Okay, I cannot wait to share with you about it. I'm just waiting for the architect. I'm waiting to engage with the architect with regard to the correct layout. When I have finished, I will be sharing with you, and that is going to be a fantastic deal. So if you've been priced out before of land coming back to Africa, this land is going to be prime opportunity for you. So you can come and pay as you go and come back to Africa. Okay. So I want to say thank you to everybody that bought in Serenity 1 and our estate in Carlton, Serenity 1, and also in Serenity 2. Thank you so much. And so now we are looking to open our Kabilan, which is the next repatriation land estate for you to come back home to, okay? And now you can even buy those little houses for like 5,000 pounds that you can come and live on. So imagine that, okay? There's no excuse now. There's no excuse. Okay, so you know, come out and give me a call or text via our text line, which you can get by WhatsApp. That's plus 220 240 5273. That's plus 220 240 5273. Okay, so just note that. Mod, put the number in, please, the comment section, so that Mahogany get in contact with us. Okay, Liliana Resurrection said, "Tell it Juliet." Okay, so Nacho means 6264 says Mandela is the course. Yes. Sorry, did I say that loud? I hope I didn't deafen you. Your headphones on. Yes, he did not do enough. He did not do enough. He let us down. He let us down terribly, in my opinion. Mandela is the cause. Let me finish your. Sorry, I read the first two lines and jumped in, didn't I? Okay, so Mandela is the cause. He had the power to make big changes. Instead, he allowed them to stay in key positions. But I love you. Who's this? Natro means 6264. You hit the nail on the head. Mwah! Kisses to you. Okay. Yeah, he had the power to make big changes. Instead, he allowed them to stay in key positions and keep all the stolen land with no justice for all of their crimes. Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail. Who is that? Invite your friends. Tell them to come and join us on this live. Okay? It's very true. I'm going to try you again, Usi. I will stay on this live until I get you, because I need for people to hear what you have to say. Okay? Liliani Resurrection 714 said, not God, rather man-made. Exactly. We were talking about what's happening in Venezuela, what's been happening around the world, and this heat wave. Okay, and I believe, I told you before, I believe that it is this. They said it's a machine. I forgot what it's called, but I also think that CERN's got something to do with it. And have you heard that they want to build a new CERN? Oh my gosh! And this one is 90, something like 91 miles. What are they trying to do? They've already opened it and had entities come into, you know, our dimension. Okay, sit at a table, take a scarf, and go back. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to collide about? They're trying to create the God particle. Don't they know who the real gods are? Hello, welcome. It's the black people that are divine and always have been. Yeah, but they're trying to deny it. You know, I also was looking at the ostrich people of Zimbabwe, which I spoke about a couple of programs ago, and they were saying how their ancestors were from Sirius B, and I get carried away without reading your comments. I'm sorry. Ayo Afua says the system of racism, white supremacy is the cause. Mandela was its tool. Exactly. We're all on the same page. Yeah. Nacho means 6264 says Mandela is also the cause. He did their bidding and didn't absolve, and yeah, don't absolve him of his betrayal. I agree, he betrayed us. He did. I was so disappointed. How can we be in 2026? 2026 in South Africa. They're turning on their brothers and sisters as opposed to fighting for reparations and justice from the white people. The white people are laughing, marching alongside them, as I showed you in the picture. Absolutely disgusted. I was disgusted. While they target and chase after, their own people. Absolutely disgusted. What can I say? Yeah. Afua said, oh, yeah, exactly, not absolve it, but we tend not to address the system over all of it. Okay? This white supremacy system, right? That's what they think it is, but it's not. It's not. They don't have any supremacy over us. What they have is wickedness. Let's just say what it is. They're evil people. Can you tell me any other nation on the face of this earth which has gone in and killed so many indigenous native groups on peoples on the face of this earth? You know, when I've done the research, someone told me that they've killed over 238 million people. But then, according to their own research, which of course they program, check AGBT or whatever, or Google, is their information. But I got it from another source, an anthropological source, which says that they killed over 238 million people. They've killed more people on the face of the earth than any other group or nation. So Ryan D. Lange, who is us? You don't know? Okay. The system is controlled by men. You see, the big difference is a good leader as makes as in the Sahel, exactly. They break the system for their true independence. Well, you have to. You cannot. You cannot have true independence in a system that is there for your domination. It makes absolutely no sense. You cannot work in the same system that is there to control you. You cannot work in the same system that is there to take your finances, your economics, your resources, and to then control using their laws, using their governance. You cannot, it cannot work using their money systems. Even the other day, I wrote a post about Ethiopia printing, now going to print their own money. Okay, why have we got them printing our money in the first place? Why is Ethiopian money being printed in England? Why are they paying over $100 million to have their money printed? Wake up and smell the coffee. Africa. Okay. So Liliani Resurrection said, yeah, Lahina, California. And Akuafua says that AES and South Africa are two different systems. To be honest with you, it's two different histories. Okay, two different histories, but they still both have a colonial past. Okay, they both have a colonial past. One might have been by the French, one by the English and the Dutch and the Germans, but ideally, well, not unideally, I should say, and unfortunately, they do have too many commonalities. And apartheid was a completely different system, and we know the wickedness that they did under apartheid, the killings, the wicked, evil murders, and the torture. The people are just wicked. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, Ayafullah says, no, sorry, Ryan Deland says, when whites handed over power, the country was, Okay, so according to Ryan Delango, I'm not going to say that I agree. When whites handed over power, let's just say, um, when power was given back to its rightful owners, yeah, uh, because they took it by force. Let's not pretend that it was a friendly thing, yeah. And PW Buta just said, okay, it wasn't that. It was international. It was international pressure, and it was other African countries actually that came in with force and finances. Yeah, it wasn't just done as simple as that. You said the gold reserves were moved to London. Now, as I explained before, when I did the whole program on the Anglo American company, and we spoke about the Anglo American company among others. Okay, and we even mentioned the fact that their head office is in London, and Mandela had no choice. I think Mandela had a choice. I think Mandela had a choice. I disagree. And also, international creditors were threatening to fund separatists. Yeah, that was a fact. But aren't they in every occasion? Aren't they doing the same in Burkina Faso now? Aren't they doing the same in Mali now? Aren't they doing the same in Niger now? And what's the difference between that and apartheid? You're already living under a terrible regime. You understand? No, there should have been all out war. And natural means 6264 said it's not two different systems, it's about colonization. Yeah, it is about colonization, definitely. Um, tell it. Nature means 664 says really on the resurrection. Now, Ryan Denan says the influx of millions of undocumented African migrants is being used to create a parallel underclass of blacks to undercut the economic leverage of the native blacks. These people are exploited. Now, let me just say to you, right, and I'm going to make it very, very clear that they actually did research to find out how many of these so-called Africans were undocumented. And out of a sample of 450, there were only two. Many of the Namibians and Malawians that are sitting there in camps today are documented. Many of the people that were killed, including the recent Ghanaian man, was documented. It's just an excuse. I will not agree with the propaganda because that is what it is. That is what it is. Why aren't they going to the white communities and seeing who's undocumented? Why aren't they going and taking back what is theirs? Instead of killing two Ethiopians in the McDonald's, why don't they take over the McDonald's? Why? Because we uphold the white man system. That's why. Because the real problem is that they have not atoned for apartheid. The real problem is that they have not had reparations. The real problem is that the issue around reparations has never gone away because it has never been dealt with. Ayo Afua said, great natural means, yeah, colonization in the mother South Africa has a white group that does not exist in the AES. Yeah, no, to that extent, that's why I said apartheid was a different system because, like I said, they had the Germans, the Dutch, and the British, and so it is different in that sense. But there's still a colonization system and apartheid. The conditioning done to South Africans under apartheid created white fear, made us afraid of them. And when I say us, I'm talking about us as Africans. Okay, so when I put myself in a position, I think of myself, if I was in South Africa during apartheid time, like Stephen Biko was, look at what they did to Stephen Biko. Look at what they did to so many people in South Africa. Look how they made them feel less than animals. That's why I can't stand the N word. You know, this is why I cannot stand the N word and us using the N word and the M mother, you know, MF word. Yeah, I can't stand it, right? Because the fact of the matter is that we should be marching on the 26th for reparations for what was done to us. They're taking they're more than taking a mickey, right? It's an absolute insult to us. We should be going with a petition, but not to the American government, but to our brothers and sisters to join with us for unity. They're targeting the wrong people. These vigilantes who are being paid to do it are targeting the wrong people. I don't know if they've lost their minds, but they're targeting the wrong people. Instead of organizing together to defeat the real enemy, the white savage apartheid beneficiaries, they're turning in on themselves. We should go for with 1 million black crosses for all our South African brothers and sisters killed during apartheid and stop this self-hate because it's got nothing to do with America. This is Africa. Okay? Let me read your comments. So Nacho means 6264 said Ryan DeLange, yeah. Poor excuses. Revolution requires pain and sacrifice. Boom. Smashed it. Nacho means 64, you smashed it, right? She said, or I hope it's a she. Sorry if I'm saying she or he, whoever you are. Yeah, I can't tell by your name. Okay. Poor excuses. Revolution requires pain and sacrifice. They still wanted to be accepted by the West. That's their biggest weakness. They owned all the wealth in their lands, not Europeans. Now, the thing is the fact that there's two things. There's two things, okay? What did I say to you? Yeah? Essential healing. We didn't have it, and it hasn't been had. And the same people that killed you, the same people that dispossessed you of your land, the same people that murdered your brothers and sisters, the same people that have that killed your family, the same people that controlled your movement, the same people that said you can't drink here, you can't swim in this beach, you can't eat in this restaurant, you can't have this water, you can't sit at this water fountain, you can't sit at this bench, you can't walk on this side of the street, are still there. What did Idi Amin do? Tell me. Hmm? What did Idi Amin do? Because part of this is self-hate. Part of this is self-hate. So Nacho means 6264 said Ryan DeLange. Yeah, poor excuses. Revolution requires pain and sacrifice. They still wanted to be accepted by the West, and that's their biggest weakness. And I think she's talking about Mandela there. Okay. And she said, great point, revolution is, A.L. Afua said, revolution is necessary. Absolutely, this is what I said. Go to war if you have to. You mustn't fear death. So Casa Janabadabo says, hi. Casa Janabadabo says, I just saw myself posted on your channel and I am just blushing. So lost and found in translation. I hope I didn't make you blush. Yeah, greetings all. Elaji Genie 110 says hi. Nacho Ning says, Ayo Afua, yeah, it makes no difference. You're still a native sovereign countries, regardless of who occupies some of the land. Boom. What she says is true. What she says is true. Let me try and see if I can get Subi back on the line because I'm sure that she would love to have her say on this. Let me see if I can call her and then add her by video call. So it makes no difference if you're still a native sovereign country, yeah, regardless of you occupy some of the land, they're conditioned to be afraid of those people. You said it at BlaXit. Thank you. This is the problem, and we have to undo that fear. Yeah, because even when I lived in England, I'm not going to lie to you, they were the majority, and it's very unsettling. It's very, very unsettling. You know, I fought my way through school. That's why my hands are like this. I fought my way through school. I will box and beat up anybody and everybody that comes to me. You understand? Okay, so Ayo Afawa says, uh, natural media, I am aware of your point. Wendy Green, hi Wendy. We still haven't had lunch yet. Okay, 8698 says they're turning on themselves for the crumbs. Absolutely, that is a perfect way of saying it. That's what they're doing. They're turning on themselves. I mean, I don't understand for the life of me, right, how they don't see the real enemy. I mean, you have this man taking photos, walking, taking photos while you turn on each other. Well, he's the culprit. He's the one that's just put 10 knives in your back. But you're turning to the other person. Do you know what it reminds me of? Was it the film Django with Samuel L. Jackson in it when he was holding on to his bot? Like, what are you doing? Are you mad? Do you understand? He's the one that's just been responsible for destroying your life. Ryan Delange said in South Africa, the informal economy is much larger than the mining industry. So it's large. So in fact, Ethiopian, Somalis, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis kill locals to control it. Can I just say, right? Can I just say, right? How much is the local economy worth? Let's talk facts. Let's talk real facts. And when you say local economy, I want you to explain exactly what that entails. Because I did a breakdown of just one company, 36 billion, just one company a year. And they were only paying the staff 226,000 of them, just under 2 billion a year. So who's really taking the profit? I disagree with you, Ryan Delange. Yeah, prove me wrong. So watching the hawk, long time, greetings. I haven't seen you for a while. Okay, watching the hawk 355, greetings. Yeah, nice to have you join the chat. Let me know your point of view. We're talking about is the AES, the Sahel Alliance of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso right in withdrawing from the ICC. That's one of the points of discussion. And the other point of discussion is that white people in South Africa want to have a protest about losing their farms and want to take 3,000 white crosses, KKK crosses, to Washington, D.C. Mall on the 26th of September to complain about their stance. And I'm saying, shouldn't we be going with at least 1 million black anks? And let's not say crosses, black anks. Yeah, let's carve out some black anks and going with them about the losses during apartheid and the lack of reparations. Okay, and what I am saying to you, we should also talk about the commonage law that we just talked about that has been passed, the bylaw that has been passed in South Africa, which will deprive native and indigenous South Africans of their land. Okay, while they have these white judges And, these white lawmakers making these rules and bylaws in the black man's land. Okay, so Nacho means 6264 says, when I saw that Zulu Afrophobe kneeling in front of the Boer woman, I mourned that Winnie Mandela wasn't the leader of. Yes, yes. I mourned Willie as well. I could not believe it when he left Winnie. I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was heartbroken. I'm not going to lie. I loved Winnie Mandela. May her soul rest in eternal power. Okay, as a great, strong ancestor and guide us through this time of trickery and manipulation, because that is what it is. It's propaganda, trickery, and manipulation. We have to rid ourselves of this fear. The only way to rid ourselves of this fear is to heal and use what they call here, look, existential counseling, which means you're not afraid to die. We need to go back to our shaman Zulus. He would never have agreed. He would turn in his grave knowing what they're doing under the name of Zulu. When I saw that as well, I was sickened. I saw it as well. I saw it as well. And, like I said, we allow ourselves to be controlled by them. We allow ourselves to be, to put ourselves in a position of fear of them, right? Because the past has not been dealt with. The past has not been dealt with. They're talking about their murders. What's their murders compared to ours? Nothing. So they lost a little bit of land, which they stole in the first place. Why not give back all the land? Why not just get out of South Africa and leave South Africans to try? Even if you fail, you will succeed at last. You will succeed. It will take time, but you will succeed. Because we used to run our own countries before they were there. Look at England. England, I think it's what, 11? Am I right? Tell me if I'm right. I think it's 11 different prime ministers they've had since 1990. Okay? They want to talk about democracy. We have to talk about them too, because they were also responsible for what's going on in South Africa. Okay? I think UK, let me just check. UK had 11 different, hang on, I'm sure it's 11. 11 different prime ministers. Does this sound like stability to you? This sounds like democracy to you, democracy to you? Huh? No, it doesn't. Hang on, let me just find out. Different prime ministers since 1990. Hang on. Let me see. It's not always correct, but let me just check anyway. Okay, so not 10, it's not 11, it says 10. Okay. John Major, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, and Keir Starmer. Yeah. Imagine that since 1990. 10. 10. And they want to talk about democracy. And that's who you're looking up to. Really? Anyway, Mahogany says, Mahogany Spirit 2885 says, yes, revolution is necessary, but first we need to address the tribal warfare. We need to globally march. Okay, explain to me where we marching to and what we marching for. We had the Million Man March. Tell me what we accomplished from that. Ayo Afua says agree. Tell me what we accomplished from that. What we really need is some serious counseling and internal change. Because if we march, but we're still afraid of the white man, they still win. We have to get rid of our fear. fundamental fear. We have to get rid of that fear. Okay, MJ bet 9-3. So is that right? MJ, can't see that properly. That looks like MJ bet Cassette, sorry, 9-3. Tribalism, when you have shared language, tone, skin tone, and DNA, is beyond stupid and universal taught of the elite to keep the power classes weak, confused, and in chaos. Exactly. They use our differences against us. This is what we have talked about for so long. They said that in the Willie Lynch letter, sorry. This is what, they've used in their psychology. They've got so many books about it that they have used as a tool, as a weapon, and we keep, dumping for it. I mean, look how many people are bleaching their skin for what? Mm? Because they've made us ashamed of ourselves. They've made us ashamed of our natural hair. They made us ashamed of our natural skin tone. Because you know what they've done? They put themselves on this pedestal, right? Where they made themselves feel superior. I know they're not superior. In fact, they're very inferior. And I know I've been, so many people made so many programs about me because I said that I feel that they're inferior. They have to be inferior. They have to be inferior because one, they're a race that go around killing other people to get their gain and power. Okay, they have to be inferior because of the fact that they are insecure. They're insecure about themselves. They're insecure about their own looks. They're insecure about their own abilities. They're insecure about their lack of melanin. They're insecure about their very bodies and biology. They're insecure. I lived among them. They're very, very insecure people. That's the reason why they hate others. And they particularly hate us. Yeah? Us that are black, us that are of African origin, us that are melanated, us that are so good at everything. That's why they have to steal and replicate. That's why they have to go and take. Because they're not the originators. They are just Zurich's copiers. Okay? And they take, they steal, they rob. This is what they do, they kill. They're natural born killers. And we shouldn't be afraid of that because we should know that energy never dies. Okay? So Natro Means said, I'm trying to get through all your comments, right? And I'm going to read all your comments this week, okay? Because last week I had to rush. So Natro Means 6-4 said, Ryan Delange, yeah. So what's the response to those Pakistanis and Bangladeshis? No retaliatory violence against them? Exactly. Exactly. We should just sit down and accept turn the other cheek? I don't think so. Okay, so natural being said 7. How's that 7? Okay, John Major, Tony Blair, 2, Gordon Brown, 3, David Cameron, 4, Theresa May, 5, Boris Johnson, 6, Liz Truss, 7, Rishi Sunak, 8, Keir Starmer, 9. There must be one more because it's 10. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess with the new one, it will be 10. Yeah, because he's resigned. So it's 9. We're both wrong. It's 9. The new one will make 10. So or if you, yeah, but I said 1990, and that's John Major. That's right. So Wendy Green, hi Wendy. Wendy said we are also fearful because we are not united. Even now, there are some tribes in South Africa who complain that they are being treated as foreigners. Okay, so what I'm trying to say to you is, right? I don't think there's a perfect unity. I don't live in utopia. Yeah, I know that we're always going to have ethnic differences. cultural differences. And when I say ethnicity differences, I'm talking about differences in, let's say, maybe phenotype differences. But we're going to have slight differences for different reasons and different migrations. But that doesn't mean that we can't live together and we can't get on. And the thing is that how can you go and blame outsiders for the problems in your own country? Like, are you stupid or what? I'm sorry to say that, but how can you blame outsiders for the problems in your own country when the majority of people committing the crime in your own country are your own fellow brothers and sisters? How can you complain when the people that are dispossessing you are the enemies that you still have living among you? Why don't you go and ask them to leave? I saw a white man of European descent, looks like Dutch descent, laughing, saying, "Oh, they would never turn against us." So we need to never do never. We need to do exactly what's going to surprise them. It's time for us to turn against them. If they want to march to United States, yeah, with 3,000 white crosses, let's give them a grave to go with it. Oh, Juliet's controversial. Yeah, true. Did you just say that? Yes, I did. Because that's what they gave us. I just think that you're going to have to fight to get your country back. The same way as they fight and kill people willy-nilly in Africa, in Iran, in Afghanistan, in Libya, everywhere they go, that's what they do. They destroy, they kill, they bomb. Nagasaki. Okay? We're gonna have to deal with them in a different way. We're just gonna have to. If not, if we did not have our revolts, if we did not have our revolution, if we did not have the Haiti revolution, okay, so they kept them in debt of 100 and, 56 million to date, but they still fought the revolution. They still fought for our freedom. Look at the rebellions that happened in Jamaica that I've spoken about already. Many of the Marines. We spoke about these things, haven't we, on BlaXit? We spoke about, the slavery and the sugar trade. We spoke about all of these things. So we have to stand up. The effort that they're taking to go and march in all their numbers, why didn't they take over one white business? Marching for what? Killing brothers and sisters for what? To what end? To get them out of your country so that white people can go occupy where they were? Well done. Is that what you think that is the right thing to do? It's ridiculous. Okay, so Mahogany Spirit 2885 said we would be marching for reparations. Yes, I agree we should march for reparations, but I don't believe we should just march. Boycott their ass. We have to get economically powerful. Stop buying at all white businesses. Stop buying at businesses that are not black. We have to start following our own black footsteps. Like I said, spending with each other makes a difference. Starve them out. Don't buy their produce, don't buy their foods, don't stop in their shops. Starve them out. Boycott them. Don't drink their wines, don't drink their alcohol, don't drink their drinks, don't smoke their cigarettes. Starve them out. Don't use their washing powders. Make local soaps. Go local. Start growing your own crops. Do your own farming. Starve them out. Marching doesn't do anything for them. It just gives us an opportunity in the media. But what does it really do? At the end of the day, starve them out financially. Stop buying their diamonds. Stop buying their gold. Stop it. We only buy from Burkina Faso, or we only buy from regions that are part of the Sahel Alliance. Starve them out. Cut off their oxygen supply. That's money. You might call me defiant. You might call me a rebel. You might call me an activist. You might call me whatever you want, a rebel leader. You might want to even say, oh, what she's saying doesn't make any sense. But you know what? It makes perfect sense. Starve them out. When we stop using their petrol oil and start making our own cars, not using petrol oil, like they did in Zimbabwe, starve them out. We start growing our own crops. We start having our own farms, our own food. Leave them, let them eat their own food. There's only 4.3 million, but there's 63 million of you. Then if you start doing your own food, doing and buying your own shops and doing everything for yourself, it doesn't matter if this person comes from Malawi or comes from Ethiopia, because it's still feeding the same economy. That's the black economy. Starve them out. Starve them out. If they do not come from an African descent, starve them out of South Africa. Okay? It has to be financial. There has to be a financial element to this. Because we march and then we go back home, and what do? Open the fridge and drink their drinks. We have to grow fruit trees and juice our own juices. Make our own lime juice. Buy our own citric acid. Make our own, fizzy drinks if we want. Yeah? Start to make our own homemade. If you want wine, then make it. I don't drink, so it doesn't make a difference to me. But make your own homemade wine. If you want to grow your own tobacco, if you want to smoke. But we need to do for self. That is what self-determination is. Once we can be self-determination, that's when we will get unified, because we'll starve them out. Because as long as they have power, they can come in and they use the same system, the same laws. Because once we have our own laws, once we have our own constitution, once we have our own system of governance, once we say, no, we don't want nothing from you, and we can be self-sufficient and stand on our own 2 feet, we can starve them out. They won't want to stay in South Africa anymore. It will be hostile for them, like it's hostile for us with them. Because when I see South Africans see a white person, all of a sudden they become subservient. They become passive. They become fearful. So marching is good, but it's not enough. It is not enough. There has to be a whole package of actions. There has to be a package of actions where we create our own alternative industries that we can leave working on their farms, leave working in their factories, leave working in their production teams, leave working in their diamond farms. Let's starve them out. We start changing our mindset. When we get married, instead of having diamond rings, let's go and have something that means something African, something that we can create for ourselves. We have to turn our culture around back to being African. Okay, so natural means 6264 said that's in 10 years. Sunshine Proverbs 31, very good number. Yes, says, I don't think that they will ever be complete unity. No, neither do I. But it doesn't mean that there can't be partial unity. It doesn't mean that there can't be partial unity. Why can't we have partial unity? Partial unity works because all we need, right, is what they call a critical mass. And out of 63 million, you can have a critical mass. And that critical mass can change everything. Wendy Green, 8968 said it was sad to see the looting of black business. We're fighting against each other. We're fighting against ourselves. We're destroying ourselves. And they're watching, sitting there, taking photographs like I showed you and laughing. Laughing at us. Well, they got us on these digital systems. Yeah, monitoring us. And we fall for it every time. Okay, Sunshine Proverbs 31 said it's hard to unite when African people don't even like African Americans. I don't think it will ever happen. Firstly, I don't know any African people that don't like African Americans, to be fair. I never met. I've been welcomed here and I've seen many, many African Americans welcomed here. Yeah, we are all coming from a place of conditioning and damage. Okay, and if people come and behaviorally, right, they're not well, they just need to seek help. I don't think it's about anyone not liking anybody. In fact, I think it's the opposite. In fact, I think they just love us. In fact, I think they love us a lot. I have I've seen the opposite. I've seen the exact opposite. I have. So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I've seen a lot of love given. But there's always individual cases where some people aren't lovable. I've had a snake. I've had a snake, yeah, come into my home that I helped. Does that mean that I think that all people from America are the same as her? No, I just think that, she had psychological problems. She had, a lot of emotional problems. She had a lot of jealousy issues, a lot of envy issues. And when people are jealous and envious, they do things that honestly make them just look stupid. They'll go online and say things about you and do things about you which are completely untrue, just simply because they want to destroy you, because they hate themselves. And so, because I had that one experience where I helped someone or two or three, right, doesn't mean that everybody's the same. It's because of the conditioning that that person has had. It's because of the conditioning of what they've been through. And we have to stop being so harsh on each other. Okay? Because from my experience of Africans, they have embraced us. They have embraced us. What I would say is a stoppage, right, is the colonial systems that exist that African countries are tied into that they need to release themselves from. This is why we all praise, what is going on in Mali, what is going on in Burkina Faso, and what is going on in Niger, is because we know that we need to release ourselves from the colonial chains that exist on our countries and on our people. Okay, that's the reason why. So So yeah, the unity is already happening. It's already happening, whether we like it or not. There are so many of us all over Africa. And when I say it's not just African Americans, yeah, I would say that us who are born in England and other people that are born in the Caribbean, okay, are here. I went on a trip to Sierra Leone, okay, with the Galageechee people, okay, of North Carolina and some from South Carolina. I was the only person from England on that trip. Everybody else was American. Okay. And I was welcomed, I was loved. And when they went to Sierra Leone and they realized the cultural similarities, because I'm not talking about differences, the similarities from weaving of I even still got them, yeah. The weaving of the baskets to the earrings, to the clothing, to the food that we have survived because they are us and we are them, and we have to stop doing this. Let's take the American away and just call ourselves Africans. Okay. And I'm telling you, I saw the love that they received in Sierra Leone. So it's not just been here. Thank you to Zena Croft, okay, and everybody else that assisted. The brother from Fambuk as well, Famil Book, who helped me to go. Thank you so much. you made the trip accessible. Thank you, you know. And so yeah, it was just amazing, amazing. Okay, to see how we were welcomed and embraced. And so we have to stop this rhetoric of disunity and start working towards unity. Okay, that's what we have to do. Where am I? So, last comment Wendy Green says we need a coordinated African military and a nuclear weapon. Yeah, we do. We do. And I think we also need spiritual warfare because everything happens in spirit before it happens here. Yeah, read the book. Okay, Zulu shaman. Yeah, so we do. We do. We really do. We do need military because we have to defend ourselves. Okay, we do, and that's very, very important. And our military needs to be military with a difference. Okay, okay, with a spiritual difference. So Mahogany Spirit 2885 says yes, we also need to boycott. Wonderful. Okay, so Nacho means 6264 said Wendy Green, that exposes them for what they really are. I bet you the DA and the Jews are behind it as they always have got their sellouts on payrolls. Always. I told you, rent a mob. There's rent a mob happening in South Africa. I'm telling you this now. And they do it. And this is propaganda that they have been conceiving, frustrated with Sorry. Right. This is the same thing that they have been doing for years. This is not new. Once you read, African history, you will see it's the same that the Hithcos did. It's nothing new. They do it time and time again. And that's the reason why we have to be ready. Okay, Sunshine Proverb says, people boycott for a week, then they go back to it. But I agree, stop circulating the money with them. Well, the thing is that those who don't have staying power, that's fine. But there are those of us that do. Yeah, those of us that say, okay, we're going to go to Africa. We don't just talk about it, but we actually do it. There are the doers, and those doers that are here in Africa aren't feeding their economies like we were when we were living there. So the more of us that leave, then we won't be feeding their economies. Okay, you might make the occasional, stop at the supermarket or what have you, but try and make it, a Gambian-owned or African-owned supermarket. As long as they have the product that you need, you understand. But yeah, we have to stop circulating money with them, starve them. That's what I said, starve them out. Okay, I'm growing my own, but as an individual, it's extremely hard. It will be. Nothing. I would say everything has challenges. Yeah, and it gets easier as you go along. Okay. And well done for growing your own. Well done. I also grow my own. Yeah. Well done. Okay, Liliani Resurrection. Okay, Sunshine Proverbs 31. Can you do a list of Black-owned household brands for people? Yeah, I can actually. My daughter did one. My daughter did a whole big thing on it. I will go to her and ask her if she still has it. It might need updating, yeah, but I will go and do that. We had a whole online. She had a whole online database of where we could go and get any product, yeah, and even order online and shipping, etc. So I will ask her because we did this a while ago, yeah. So yeah, it is possible, and I think there's even more places now, and I think there's also www.blacktube.com, which I'm hoping to join as well soon. I'm hoping to join them soon. So Liliani Resurrection 714 says, tell it Juliet, boycott and buy black only. Exactly, thank you. Sunshine Proverbs 31 said, it's not realistic for a lot of black people to create their own products. I'd like to find in the black owned batteries and stuff. Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, should I say it or should I hold it? I'll hold back. I'll hold back. I'll hold back on a project that I've been working with a very, very talented man. He is amazing. I spent yesterday with him and I am so impressed by this man. Okay, he is awesome. He is an inventor, and I met him a while back, actually, in a completely different context. And then we ended up working on projects together. This man blows my mind. Yeah, he's awesome. Okay, and yeah, we're working on some projects together, and I'm really excited about them. But this man is amazing, and I hope one day I am able to introduce you to him, BlaXit family. But he is absolutely awesome. You know, I'm telling you, the future ahead for us is amazing. He was here at my home until quite late last night. We were working, and yeah, his mind is just some of these. Oh my goodness, some of the people that I meet here just totally awesome, awesome, awesome. So the future is bright. That's what I've got to tell you. Okay. And so I find black-owned batteries and stuff. Yeah, I think there are companies that are manufacturing. So I think that we should do is maybe do a list of things that we're not creating. How about that? And try and find where we can find them, whether it's in Africa or America or the Caribbean. How about we do that? We do a list of things that we don't think are made within our own community, and see if we can find them being made in our own community. And if they're not, how about we start initiatives to start to create them? How about that? Hmm? So I'll try and get the list. It might need updating. Yeah. It had everything on there from warehouses to various different facilities, travel agents to people that did all kinds of products and services, even washing powder. And here in Africa, they make their own washing powder and their own soaps and stuff like that. So well, how am I? A mahogany 2885. Yes, you're right. We need to hit them in their pockets. Okay, Wendy Green says 28698. We cannot just starve them out. We also need to defend what we create. Yes, we do. I agree with you. Like I said, we do need our own African protectorate, yeah, and our own African protections and defense forces and systems. And like I said, not just here in the 3D, but also, spiritually as well. Yeah, because we also have to defend what we create. We are very good at destroying what we create, but that is the lesson of the US history. Learn from it. It's true. It's true. Well, that's what they do. They make you destroy what you've created. This is what they do. They make you destroy what you create. Look at Tulsa, Oklahoma. They just went and they bombed it. Boom, boom, boom. You understand? So we know that they do this, but if we had a defense system to go and boom, boom, boom back, they would have thought twice about it, but we didn't. What did we do? Instead, we went to church. You see? So I understand exactly what you mean, Wendy Green, but we definitely do need a defense system. We need a fearless one. Okay, we need a fearless one, but not just physical, also spiritual. And in fact, it was a black woman um, uh, um, who actually invented the atom bomb. Well, it wasn't a bomb when she first created it, but the atom nuclear power surge. It was a black woman. So yes, we can. Yes, we can. Can't remember her name right now though. So natural means 6264 said, that's why I want Dangote to become the wealthiest man on the planet. He manufactures a lot of what the continent needs. Absolutely. And the thing is that not only has he gone into that, but now he's gone into refineries. Not only has he gone into refineries, that's what he knows. Not only has he gone into refineries, but now, pipelines also. Pipelines also, and mining. So, he's doing a lot of wonderful things. Yeah, Liliani Resurrection said true, Wendy, Black Wall Street, Oklahoma. Yeah, exactly. And also, what they did to the Roots family as well. I think it was in Harlem. And the Rose, it's coming out of my head. Is it Rose Gardens? Can't remember. But yeah, we all need to start somewhere, and I say we start with trying to buy black, as I've said. True said naturally means it's for the army resurrection said sunshine Proverbs 31 conditioned to think we are hated because if we left, what would happen to their economy? Exactly. This is the thing. This is the thing. You hit a nail on the head there, Liliana Resurrection. Because if we did leave, the time is not on the phone. Yes, I couldn't tell you how long I've been on here today. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's not actually on there. Okay. And I don't know. He's got this top fans things written there instead, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, I think that yeah, if we left, and this has been my recommendation, if you're in a position to leave and to come to Africa to live, then you should. And that's why I agree with Wendy Green. Once we come to Africa, we do also need a defense system. And that's why I'm so glad that here in Gambia, they are now training their own army, no more Turkish and Germans and stuff. They're doing it themselves, which is absolutely brilliant. And that's what we need to do. We need to become self-sufficient. We also need to manufacture. We need to manufacture and create our own defense systems. They have this, what do they call it, dome thing that they have, the Iron Dome. Well, we should have our own African dome, to protect ourselves from their weapons. You know, we need a strong protection system. But if we did leave in our droves, it would definitely affect their economy. Um, Thank you, Sunshine, for that comment. AO Afua said, I've seen a lot of love among our people globally as well. Unfortunately, too many are ignorant and repeat negativity. That's true. I've experienced a lot of love. I've been to, I don't know, I think it's about 31 countries. And all of the African countries and Black countries that I've been to, I have experienced a lot of love. I think there was just one, was it? Um, I've forgotten what it's called. Hang on, it'll come back to me. But Mahogany Spirit 2885, we must remember that we have been a fractured people. Exactly. And that's why I said we need to heal. Yeah. Existential counseling and healing. This book is very interesting. If you do get a chance, do try and get it. Very interesting. I'm actually going to put my head straight into it when I'm finished, and a plate of food because I've had lunch yet. So yeah, and of course, there's always going to be some healing. We need to heal. There's no doubt about it. The self hatred that they planted in us is like a really bad seed. It's like poison ivy, and it's going in us and around us, and it's getting worse. And I mean, I was reading about this football player. I don't know if you know. He used to play for Arsenal, and this is why I'm trying to say this, right? When I heard this story, I actually sent a note to myself because this is what I do. Now, when I hear things, I send a note to myself. Where is he gone? This football player, his name was oh Ebo, and Ebo was a football player, and he earned about 25 million. He was an African football player. He wasn't as educated in the European system. Anyway, when he went to go and play in England, he then got pursued by a white woman who knew exactly what she was doing and tied him up in contracts and agreements. I think one of them was probably a settlement agreement and before they got married. I think he might have had an agreement where literally he gives her everything if they divorce, and he gets nothing. And so that was in the premarital agreement. I forgot what they call them now, actually. But anyway, he lost custody of his children, and his white wife, yeah, did not let him see them either. Yeah. And she made him sign all the documents, and he did it because he trusted her. And this is the problem that we have. Okay. We have white savior syndrome. And this man, right, was left with a capital card, like literally a travel card that he could use to travel from place to place. After having 25 million, he was left with nothing. And I think the legal system was unfair to him because although he signed, well, to be honest with you, caveat emptor, isn't it? Buyer beware, you know. But he allowed himself to go to that white woman, and instead of in sharing what he has with his own people, he went to the white side, and then he lost absolutely everything. His name is EBOE. You can look it up, and he used to play for Arsenal. Very sad story, but at the same time, by crossing out and going and marrying outside of his own race, did he get what he deserved? What do you think? Yeah. So that's why I said when you say we're fractured, that's the problem. We are fractured. Okay, so T T2031. Yeah. Didn't you hear and read my previous comment? Yes, crate are all black everything. No, I must have missed it. I'm sorry. I did must have missed it. I'm so sorry. Let me go back. I'm just gonna try and see. Wow, it must have been a while ago because I'm going back. Yeah, okay, T2031, the Zeo-Nazis and genociders have already built a fortified compound in pristine beach adjacent property. Okay, is that what you said? I'm sorry I missed your comment. When you control the mind, you control behavior. Okay, so I've missed some comments. I'm sorry. So they want more space for themselves to take over. Okay, so I missed some comments. Sometimes this thing moves, so I do apologize. And bed, 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 Lina Babe, 4521 said this has been going on for over a decade and beyond. They attacked foreign Africans and with machetes. A white woman questioned a rebel attacking blacks and attacking blacks and whites, and he said whites are good and welcome. Are you for real? Look, I'm even my eyes starting to work. That's making me feel sad. Okay, Mahogany said finally turned tuned in. Okay, so these are the ones that I missed. Okay, and Natron 6264 says you have a treacherous ANC government that's allowing it to happen. Okay, I think those are the ones that I missed. Yeah, AFOR said we need healing that includes a rite of passage. Yeah, I think I read this one before. And we can shed our internal racism, which is, I don't think we can have racism, but we can have self hatred. Okay, let me go back down. Now I've lost my place. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you didn't hear my previous comment. Yes, create all black everything, but also study what other tactics they will use. Study Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Iran. They will attack everything. Yes, I mean, if you're quite right, actually, T2031, good number. And because if you study Iran, one of the things that America did, yeah, was to attack the infrastructure. They're very disgusting attacks. Okay, very disgusting attacks. They attacked the water saline treatment solution treatment centers for drinking water. So you know they weren't attacking. They were attacking to do the worst damage to the people. I mean, if that's not what evil is, you understand. Then they attacked the roads and the railways to make sure that they couldn't get any food or any supplies or any weapons coming back in and out. And then they attacked schools and hospitals. It's just evil. Okay. The way that we love each other is universal. Absolutely. And I love you, BlaXit family. Never forget, okay? I love you so much. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much for joining me this Sunday. You don't even know how much it really means to me. I so appreciate your content, your comments, for us talking back and forth. Okay. Juliet, once again, you hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much. Lily Oli Resurrection. Sunshine Proverbs 31. I like your channel. I would never move to Africa, but it's nice to watch some of your videos. Okay, and why wouldn't you move to Africa? Is it because of your situation? Okay, Sunshine Proverbs 31. Have you been to the continent? We can never escape our mother, no matter what. A tree without its roots will wither and die. All that you are proud of is because of that place. Absolutely, I tell you what, it is so lovely here. Oh my goodness. The other day, where was I? I went, I had a meeting. I had a meeting. So I went for the meeting, lunch meeting, and business meeting. And I sat there and I just looked and I just thought, Africa is just paradise. It's just like, you know, I guess what they would describe heaven as. And if you look at all of the fires that is happening across certain parts of America, the heat that's carrying on in Europe, it's like that's their hell. Well, we have heaven here. I am telling you, sometimes I just sit and I was watching a man climb the trees with this contraption, getting the coconuts, and he gave me three coconuts, fresh off of the tree, and they were sweet like nectar. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, just watching the sea breeze and the beautiful clear beaches and the beautiful sand, it was absolutely gorgeous. And I know, there are people that will go and always have the anti. To be honest with you, um, you see what you're in tune to. Yeah, your frequency. That I always try to keep things high vibrational, keep things in a high frequency. And when you stay in this high frequency mentality, that is what you attract and that is what you manifest, you know. And part of my manifestation was to be here in Africa. I manifested it because this is the reality that I wanted. I was daydreaming and seeing it while I was in England in the cold, you know. So, okay, Rose, welcome, Rose B819. Hello, and good seeing you too. Yeah, thank you for joining. Aya Afawa said, I would move to Africa in a heartbeat, and I welcome you. Okay, if you want some beautiful lands in Gambia, you want to move here, you know what to do. Holler at me +220 240 5273. Oh, I think this phone battery is going, fam. It looks like it's getting dark, doesn't it? Or is it the light? I don't know. All of a sudden it's got dark. Did I touch something? Oh, I'm not sure what I've done. Oh, right, it's back again. Oh, it's going light and dark as I move. I think I'm doing something to the control and I'm not sure what I've done. I touched the screen and that's it. Okay, so let's just stay here in a fixed position, I think. Okay, like minds attract like minds. Thank you, Aya Afua. It's been a great chat this week. I've so enjoyed today's live. Yeah, I think some folk just see a narrow picture of Africa. You can fit US, Europe, China, India, and Japan inside of the space left over. Most of it is pristine and nice to live in. It is, it really is. It's very lovely. You don't hear that cockerel singing in the middle of the day. You don't think it's morning? Oh, I thought that cockerels only sang in the morning. I got a big surprise when I started to live here. They used to cockerel all times of the day. Anyway, Sunshine Proverbs 31 said, naturally, you can't force people to want to move over there. I like this channel, but like I said, I would never move. I think it's two things. I never say never because you don't know what's going to happen. COVID showed me that. COVID showed me that you never ever know what's going to happen. Okay. So never say never because you might find yourself where they kick your ass out, just like what they did to those people. And they ended up coming to Africa by force. Yeah, they ended up coming to Africa by force. And some of them said, what have they been doing in America all their life? They love it. And they were kicked out by force. And then they were taken in by an African country. And now they wish they realize that they've been enslaved. They really have been in prison their whole life in America. So, it all depends on your mindset. So never say never because you don't know what might happen. Because when the pandemic hit, you lot were in prison while we were in freedom. Okay, just the truth. Okay, okay. And I don't force anybody. I invite people to come and to make a choice. I think choice is free choice is, what makes us differ from other creatures in nature is that we have free choice. Yeah, you see, I chose to come and live in Africa. That was my free choice. I've been coming to Africa for over 33 years, I think it is now. I think I got the date wrong before. I think it's over 33 years I've been coming to Africa for and loving it. And traveled to many different countries across Africa, and it's just amazing. And I still love it, and I intend to go to many, many more as well. So let's just read these last few comments and then I think we'll sign off because it keeps going light and dark and I don't understand why. So, Sunshine Proverbs 31 says, I'm not forcing anyone, but some folks' perception has been tainted by the negative propaganda and stereotypes, thus making them afraid of their own inheritance. Absolutely true. Oh, who's that? Yeah, natural. Natural means, listen, when you come live with me, listen, you got talks. Oh gosh, I keep moving and it keeps going dark and light. So just excuse me, okay? Because I think that's what happened last week as well. I didn't realize, and I kept going like this, and it was going dark, and I didn't realize. And the whole program was in the dark. It's only when I watched it back, I was like, oh. So I don't know why it keeps happening. So it's not my phone, it's my son's phone. It's new and fandangled. I don't understand all the gadgets on it. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of negative propaganda about Africa, unfortunately, and they've made it so. They control, 90%. Every time I move, they control 90% of what you see. And of course, they're going to taint it. They're not going to tell you, oh, it's wonderful. They're not going to say to you, you're going to eat some of the best food you've ever had. They're not going to say to you, you're going to meet some of the best people you've ever met. They're not going to say to you, oh, you are going to, feel at peace. They're not going to tell you that you're going to be, less stressed than you've ever been once you establish yourself. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that, you can build your house for like 50,000 less. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that, oh, you can live off the grid and have your solar and your water live off the grid. You can have your own swimming pool and, live your life and enjoy yourself and grow your own food. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to say that, oh, your neighbors are lovely and the people around you are lovely. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that, oh, be frightened of crime, be frightened of this, be frightened of that, be frightened of everything. They're going to tell you about food shortages. They're going to tell you about loads of stuff when it's not the truth. In fact, here you live very abundantly. They're going to tell you that there's no jobs. They're going to tell you that, there's no this, there's no that, when you have the same facilities and institutions here as you have there. They have social security here as they have there, but they want to frighten you, and that's what they do. They frighten you out of wanting to come so that they can come. And as you can see, 4.5 million of them who hate Africa live a very good life in South Africa. Why are they living such a good life in South Africa if it's such a bad place? Do you think a white person would say, "Well, I'm never going to go to Africa"? They're not going to say that because they know what it is. They know that they fed you a bunch of lies while they take your land and your inheritance. Yeah. Rosewood, thank you. Rosewood, that was it. Thank you so much, Wendy Green. Yeah, it was Rosewood in Florida. Sunshine Proverbs 31 says, NATO, tell the people over there to start filming what they want people to see. Maybe they will should do positive propaganda or something. I think that many of us have, and I've been included. I haven't done so much recently, and that is because they have messed me up with my main channel. They remove my content, they mess up, they auto dub my content. Um, Sometimes I can't even upload. So that's the reason why I've been having severe channels with that. That's the reason why I said I would go live more frequently. And if you'd like to see me on my live more frequently, just let me know. Okay, you can say what day and what time, and I'll be here. Okay, as long as, of course, I'm not sleeping. So you can let me know if you'd like to have more live content while I'm trying to work out how I can get around the shadow banning uh, on my main channel. As you know, they demonetize the shadow banned us because they don't want you to see and know the truth. They want the people who sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. And I will show you the good, the highlights, and I will also show you things that need improvement. You know. Okay. AF4 said Wilmington, NC. Okay. New York County, and AF4 said OC, Florida, as well as others. Yeah, they've done so much. I mean, don't forget Devil's Punch Bowl. I never forget what they did in Devil's Punch Bowl. That thing hurts me to this day. Nacho Mean says Sunshine's Proverbs 31. There are lots of YouTubers who do it. Rhoda Meyer is one. Rhoda Meyer, look at Rhoda Meyer. Rhoda Meyer, that's why many of you are here today. That's the reason why you're watching BlaXit is because of Rhoda Meyer. I was interviewed by Rhoda Meyer when I said that England is a dump. And I stand by what I say. I absolutely stand by what I say. But it was on Rhoda Meyer where many of you came to subscribe on this channel. Oh, Subi's here. Oh, I've been trying to get you. Can you join us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Can you join us?
Yes,
Sunshine Proverbs 31. We love you too. And thank you for loving BlaXit. Okay, I'm going to put you on a. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, hang on. Oops. Hang on. Lost it. What is going on? Let's try it again. Let's try it now. Now this phone. Okay. Yeah, we can hear and see you. Can you hear and see her? Now tell us what's been going on in South Africa because, like I said, yeah, so people that I've been getting, reportage from you on the ground. Whoa! Oh, sorry, I dropped the phone. Sorry. Reportage from you. Hang on, let me turn my camera off 1 minute. That's it. Let's make you big. How do I get my one down? I'm trying to just pull my one down so that. Okay, that's it. You can see. There you go. Let me move better. Let me move closer so I can put you fully on the
Inside of
camera.
my car. I hope you don't mind.
No, it's fine. So you're down. You've got feet on the ground. You're there in South Africa as we speak. You're in Cape Town. Tell us. I hope everybody can hear. Let me make sure the volume's up. Yeah, that what's been going on because we've seen all these marches and stuff, and then you said to me, "Oh no, but Aussie, I've just been through that area and I don't see it." Like, so has there been a lot of propaganda really pushing this anti-African attitude.
Yes, absolutely. So on 30th of June, I am, like I said, currently, like you said, I'm currently in Cape Town, South Africa. And on the 30th of June, I got into my car at about 9:30 a.m. and I started making my way to focal points that I thought, for example, Bellville, which has been in the news. I also drove to town, which is in the news because our immigration office is in town. I then drove all the way to Noordhoek. So I drove from the northern Cape all the way to the southernmost Cape. And there, it was peaceful. It was actually a lovely day. I actually then realized that people are just at work. It was a normal working day. It's a Wednesday. There was no emergency from government to say. Normally, if there's unrest, government will make an announcement to say the buses are not running, or the trains are not running, or please stay at home, there's an emergency, because there's a march on March, they are expecting violence. But there was no alert given at all. The trains, the buses, the school, everything was running normally. And then I get back home, and all of a sudden there's a pop-up protest. And I'm thinking to myself that I was just there. When did this happen? It's like a flash mob. And then that is the only explanation that I could give as to how this happened. Because it's not just myself that drove around. There were a few people who were doing the same thing that I was doing. And you can go and watch them on YouTube. There's a guy, Jackson Cooper. He's in Johannesburg. He was in the CBD. He's on YouTube. And it was all quiet. It was actually a very peaceful day. Then there's another brother, I can't remember his name, but he was in Durban. And he also recorded that it's a peaceful, quiet day. In the areas that they are showing us on news and YouTube and social media, these hotspots, when we get there, it's peaceful. So I believe this, not I believe, I know this is propaganda. I know this is their way. This feels like old colonial tactics. Right now, however, in South Africa, it doesn't mean that nothing is happening in South Africa. In South Africa and in Namibia, there's a lot happening politically. When it comes to indigenous rural land, there's a lot happening. By law, while the xenophobic attacks were going on in January, when it started, a new bylaw was put into our laws in Cedarburg, which is in the Western Cape, where they did it, but it's kind of outside the big city centers. So a lot of us didn't even know that this bylaw was being passed. And this bylaw restricts indigenous people from their land. It also restricts us from having a kraal. A kraal is a indigenous structure. It is a round, circular structure. It is the African structure, you know. We all have round, circular structures. We call our round, circular structure a kraal. It is now forbidden to put a kraal up. You have to go and get consent from municipality in order for you to have a kraal on your property. And if the kraal does not comply to these standards, you can lose your kraal. Now, our kraals are used for prayer. Our kraals are used for special ceremonies like weddings, birth, death, initiation. We have a kraal. Canals can also be used to house our animals, our livestock. Because indigenous people, especially in South Africa, Southern Africa, a lot of us have turned now primarily to livestock because they've made farming impossible for us. So we could still kind of get away with um, um, sheep, goats, cows. They've made it now because we live on indigenous land. We just let our cows or our sheep graze. They've now passed a law that our sheep can only graze in a particular corner, in a particular space, and we have to get permission from government to let our animals graze. How are we going to tell the animals where they must walk?
You can't.
Who's going to tell the donkey with his tribe of donkeys that he can't walk anymore to the river to go get water? So in this time, this bylaw has been passed, which makes it almost a criminal offense to practice Aboriginal practices, African practices. When we want to practice, they've made it unlawful for us to be African in South Africa. It is the same as the xenophobic attack, making Africans feel like they don't belong. I just want to move from this space. Sorry, I'm in my car.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
You know, I was reading that there are over 4.5 million white people in South Africa. I didn't know that, you know. I was absolutely shocked. I didn't know that there were so many white people in South Africa.
Yes, absolutely. We have, I think, South Africa has the biggest population of white people on the continent. Southern Africa, I should say Southern Africa, has the biggest population of Europeans
Wow.
in Africa.
So,
We 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 still suffer colonialism here. Nothing changed. Apartheid did not change anything. As a matter of fact, apartheid changed to colonialism. It just reverted to another form of imperialism, of the system that they run these white people. So now, before apartheid, you used to put us in a space and you stay in the space. And for the most part, we made ourselves comfortable in the little space that we were kind of handed. All of us that are African. Whether you are Zulu, whether you are Xhosa, whether you are Sotho, whether you are Tswane, whether you are Bushman, whether you are Nama, whatever tribe you were kind of put in a place after apartheid ended and told to make a living. And we did that, but now they are even including in this little part that we have, taking this little bit of Africa that we can still practice being African. They are now even trying to take that away.
and so, I mean, are the whites so in seat in the country? Because, like, I watched, you know, to see white judges, you know, prosecuting Black Africans, white politicians in Parliament, you know, white business people having power and control on decisions that are being made in South Africa. Do you think that they're the ones behind this bylaw and what's going on? And do you think that, you know, the government have any control over what's going on?
It's a collaboration. There's no other way to think about it. This is a collaboration between government and the colonialists, the white colonialists. The only way this can work is if there is a collaboration. For example, even if government takes the land, if there's no white people to move on the land, then Government has to give it back to us. What are you going to do with the land? Right? Now, what they've done is they've taken the land, they're now taking more land, and Europeans are moving, settling on the land. It has to be. Why are you selling it to European settlers? When we are telling you we are here as Africans, not just Africans from outside of South Africa or outside of Namibia, Africans inside your borders, indigenous Africans in your borders are saying, you are making us all feel like we are illegal citizens and we are all in Africa. And you are collaborating while we are asking for our space and our place. You are bringing foreigners, colonizing. You are making it easier for them to colonize us now. You are making it legal for them to colonize us now.
Do you think that Mandela was the first government that you had after apartheid? Do you think that he did enough in order to reverse apartheid and to, you know, gain you reparations and justice?
I grew up in apartheid. I grew up in apartheid. I thought I was part of the struggle. They were good moral fiber, of good moral standing, of righteousness, of sacredness, that died, that gave up their lives for this cause, because they believed that this was a sacred cause and a righteous cause. Chris Hani being one of them, and he was murdered. The leader of the Pan-Africanist movement, which was started in South Africa, who spent 30 years on Robben Island. Nelson Mandela only spent 18 years. That man spent 30 years, and for the most part, Nelson Mandela wasn't even with them. Murdered. They are good people. This what we fought for was a good cause. However, by the time Nelson Mandela was released from prison, we knew. When I said to you, the moment when it clicked on me, when I realized, oh my God, we have been betrayed, is when I saw him on the coach with the Queen of England. He was sitting next to the Queen of England. And we are still bearing our deed. We are having a reconciliation commission here in South Africa, trying to heal. Telling about how we found parts of our brothers, and our people were sent to us in bits and pieces. Oh, my brother went to the border. We don't know what happened. And hearing horrific stories of what they did to us. You, Nelson Mandela, sat next to this queen who okayed all of these things. You were sitting next to her in a coach. What? What is that? They made a deal. I am asking people, I'm telling people, we are about to show people. As Africans, we are about to show you what is happening in Africa. It's not just South Africa. This problem is all over our continent. Why? Because our root is infected. As South Africa, Namibia, we are part of your Africa. You understand we are part of it. You understand we have an infection here, which is causing a trickle effect all up into Africa. If the root is unsavory, the root is not well, the tree cannot produce good fruit. We all know this. Our root, we are at, you must not forget that you have a mother. And she has a root, she has a womb, and the womb is being attacked. Your mother's womb is being attacked, Africa. And these people who are doing all of this, they look like me and you. I am heartbroken because they turn my brother against.
They're turning each other. This is the white man's game. This has always been the white man's game. Aussie, this has always been the white man's game.
Listen,
Aussie.
why would you make laws against my girl?
Aussie, this has always been the white man's game.
Animal, please, as an African, you should know better. So I can only say it must be a collaboration.
That's sad. But you know what? You know, I'm not going to keep it too long. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Keep us updated with what's going on with the croissant. Keep us updated, you know, with what's going on. But thank you for sharing light on, you know, what is really happening and showing that we're being misguided as well, because I think that's very important, that they're trying to divide Africa. They're trying to put one country against another country against another country. And they're trying to incite this racial violence. And now they've got people pulling their people out of the country. They've got South Africans being attacked in other countries. They're doing it to create civil war. And this is how civil war starts. This is how civil war starts. You understand? And we have to be wise enough to rise up above it. And, you know, the president of South Africa, he has to get strong now. He has to stand up and do something to say enough is enough is enough. I heard his speech, but his speech to me didn't go far enough, didn't say enough, didn't do enough.
Ramaphosa has already also shown his hand like Nelson Mandela showed us his hand. In Parliament, he was disgraced when a comrade of his, a member of Parliament, called him out during a national televised parliamentary meeting where he said Cyril Ramaphosa sold them out. And they had to go to Robben Island. And Cyril Ramaphosa told the wife that he was indoctrinated by communists and he was sent to America. The only reason why they allowed him back in was because Nelson Mandela told them to forgive him. Are you listening, Osi?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, this president, this Africa, listen to me. If you wish, I am your sister. I am in our mother's root, in her womb. And they are attacking the womb. Do not allow them to divide us. When people come to me with these xenophobic attacks, I tell them, how can you tell me to not allow my brother into my house? How do I do that? How do I tell my brother he can't come into my house when the gates are closed? The reason why they are doing this is because they can see our power rising now. The one thing about this internet, this Wi-Fi, is that we can now communicate with one another clearly. So, do not, this is the divide and conquer. They are afraid of us. Let them be afraid. I say, let them be afraid. Who cares if they are afraid? We just have to keep on being African. That's all. But it's difficult when there's such bad influence in our house. That's the problem. There's bad influence in our house.
You know what? Just like they said, one bad fruit spoils the whole bunch. And the thing is, I've got to say, my dad, you know, my late father, you know, he wasn't a perfect man by any means, but you know, he had a lot of philosophy, and one of his philosophies that he asked me was, you know, if you saw, you know, 10,000 people running and jumping off a bridge, would you join them? You know, would you join them? And I was only like 6 or 7 when he asked me this. And I was like, no, because I was thinking, boy, I might jump off that bridge. I might not live. I might, all these kind of things came off of my, you know, into my mind. And what I'm realizing is that they've got us running and jumping off of a bridge, not thinking about the consequences of our actions. And what we're not realizing is that we have to, yes, we have to think about the consequences of our actions before we make them. We have to think about the consequences of our actions before we do them. We have to think about the long-term consequences, the short-term consequences, the mid-term consequences, and also the knock-on effects to everybody else around us. And this is what we're not doing, because they're leading us blindly and stupidly by using things like employment, lack of resources. When they have all the resources, they have private hospitals. So why aren't they going and attacking their private hospitals? They've got private schools. Why don't they attack their private schools? They've got all of their private neighborhoods. Why don't they go and attack their private neighborhoods? They've got all of their shops, rows of shops and things. Why don't they go and attack that? They're the ones that have caused the imbalance. They're the ones that have caused the inequity. They are the ones that have caused all of the economic residual and long-term ongoing and sustained impoverishment of South Africans, and they just can't see it.
I don't know. Are you that naive? Are you that? I don't think we are that naive. Neither do I think that we are that, naive. I think that these rotten apples, rotten apple in the gut. That is why I started with we have good people was in the struggle, because the people that are in the struggle are now taking over government, right? The real people, the ones who were for Africa and for the people, and I will particularly say myself a Pan-Africanist, we were immediately shut off. So the rotten apple, the ones who make deals with these white people, they make deals. Nelson Mandela made a deal. Cyril Ramaphosa made a deal. They all make deals. They have already made a deal. We must flush out that with this infection of white. We already know what is going on. It's in the news. We know about Cyril Ramaphosa. We know about Nelson Mandela. We know about Julius Malema now. We know about what's his name, Jacob Zuma, Epstein Island. We know about Thabo Mbeki, where we trade our men, we let our men die in concentration camps in Angola. People don't talk about that. And Thabo Mbeki, when he was president at the time, let our fellow comrades who were still in Angola, held as prisoners in concentration camps, he let them die. He denounced them.
You see?
So all of
this is the problem. You know, we have too much weakness. I got to say it. It's weakness. It's weakness. We have too much cowardice. We have too much abandonism. We have too much lack of commitment. We have too much, you know, basic. We don't have empathy and you know, compassion towards each other. Because what I'm seeing happening is just getting to my core of my whole being, that, you know, and I know that it's not all South Africans. I know this is just a fringe group. Yeah, out of 63 million, you don't see 63 million marching. They just make it look big, but it ain't that. You understand? Oh, listen, listen, I think you're gone.
Sorry.
All right, no worries.
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So let me just yeah, so anyway, time is going. So what we'll do is, okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna wrap up because I was on here for a while before you came on. I didn't even realize the time. So we've well gone over our hour, but it has been very good. I was saying that, you know, for future reference, yeah, I think that we have to make a change for the future. You know, we can talk about what's gone, but what can we change moving on? And how can we change it? That's what I'd like to hear from you. What's your leaving a message with us? So as we move on into the future, you know, we're not going to experience the same things as the past.
Myself as an African, this is what I'm saying. Politics has never helped us. As Africans, way that I can see forward for us Africans is to return back to being us. Do not let their laws, because they are creating all kinds of laws up and down Africa, restricting us and restricting us and restricting us. And we must not pay the restrictions any mind, because that law can be broken. Their laws are baseless. Their laws have no foundation. Their laws have no power. African laws, our laws, spiritual laws, you cannot break those laws. You can ignore it, but you can't break it like their laws can be broken and can be changed from one to the next. They are quick to change their laws. We must ignore that and just keep on being African. Do it the way you remember your ancestors did it. In whatever way that, whether you are in technology, whether you are in agriculture, I don't care what your profession is. Just stay within yourself. Go to your crowd. Go to your mother's house. Connect with your children. Teach them about spend time with them. African families, we need to spend more time together so that we can remind one another of who we are and what we believe in. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of our families, unfortunately, are being fragmented. And this is the issue that we have right now because of our level of self-hatred. You know, when we look outside everywhere else except for ourselves for validation, for acceptance, for love, for partnership. And this is where it's breaking down from the top all the way down, like you said, you know, making the deal with the wrong people, making deal with the devil, you know, or the evils, as they say. Take off the D, it's evils, you know, making the deal with the evil ones, because you can see you're evil by their deeds. You can see they're evil by their deeds. So, yeah, I think that's what we have to do. We have to remember their deeds because this is what's happening in South Africa. They have this small group of people that have amnesia or they're paid to do it. But whichever way, it's still not a good look. And it's a way to start some kind of, you know, civil issue in Africa. And it's not going to happen. The ripple is not going to go outside of this pond, you know. We will control it because we can also use our social media to tell the truth. And that's what we're doing today. So listen, I'm going to love you and leave you, Usi. Usi means sister, by the way. If you wonder why we call each other Usi, Usi means sister. Okay, so Usi, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Lisa
Thank
Harris.
you, family.
Lisa
Thank you
Harris.
so much. And all the love.
Okay, Lisa Harris. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So she was awesome, awesome as always, and she's a very special guest to have on. This is the last of it. I'm sorry if I didn't get to read all of your comments because there are a lot to go through. But I would like to say thank you to all of you, all of you. Today has been a very awesome live. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, all of you. I wish Marcia Black, I didn't read your comment, so I will read your comment because I don't want to miss your comment before I go. Marcia, greetings to you. Marcia Black 9339 says, Hi Nyancho, great show. Uh, uh, um, I tried to comment 3 times now, but they keep being removed. Please give out your email address again, and it will be useful for our communication. I'm sorry, but it's YouTube. I've got to tell you this. It's very hard. Just certain words they're targeting now. So just when you're writing comments, just be careful of certain words or rephrase it, and then it stops happening. But BlaXit is under the radar right now. That's the reason why you haven't seen me post so much on my main page. If you look the last page, they messed up with the auto dubbing. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I'm still here doing lives, and I'm here every single week, almost, unless I'm sick or something happens, without fail. Okay. Because I want to keep the connection. I want to help you repatriate. I want to get you back to Africa. Okay. And we also have to do what we can to join up to help us because, like I told you, they're attacking on the African front, and I'm not joking with you. They're coming here in their droves. And, we sit there and say, oh, I'm never going to Africa. I'm never going to Africa. Right. But they always come to Africa. They always come to Africa, you know? And that's the thing. We've got to realize we have to stop their brainwashing of us, thinking that, you're coming somewhere that is not as nice as where you are. Yeah. And how do you know that there are places that aren't even better, more beautiful, more wonderful? And the people are even nicer. How you don't know that? You don't know that until you come. So never say never, okay? So listen, I will try, but my email address is info@blaxitgroup.com. I had to change it from the last one because it got hacked. Well, just taken away, actually, without me even knowing. I just couldn't get access to it. It wouldn't come up anymore. That was it. It was gone. So, yeah, that's how it's happening these days. Technology is the next weapon being used against us. So just be mindful of that. Okay. Just be very mindful of that. So it's info@blaxitgroup.com. Okay. And Nacho means said 6264. So they've even been outlawing their own native culture. They can't even keep their nature. So yeah. Well, this is the thing is that when you have leaders which have been colonized and intercepted, let's just say, yeah, in a way, and they themselves, have been bought off. This is it, but they do it. You've got to remember that the common denominator of all this is that it's the Europeans, it's the whites, it's the British, it's the Americans, it's the Anglos, okay? It's those, and this is what they do, you know. So there's so many more comments. Miss Rosa, so sad, not sure about what Belema has done. Yeah, I didn't ask her about that actually. I didn't ask her about that, but I have heard some, people say that he's in a challenging situation as well. He's in a very difficult situation. I actually like Julius Malema myself. Malema is not the government, and they had a chance twice to give the EFF the power to get back what is being stolen, and they voted for the weak, cowardly Stella Ramaphosa and the ANC. Exactly. This is it, great discussion, etc., etc. Listen, there's too many comments. Okay, Everton Watson in Jamaica. Greetings, one love. Okay, Marcia, one love. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week, same place, same time. That's 4 p.m. British summertime. Here on BlaXit, the channel dedicated to your repatriation, relocation back to your nation. Okay. Remember, the only way to eradicate racism is to leave it behind and come and live with your own kind. And like I said to you, you have to exit the West and come back to the best. And that's Africa, no doubt, because I'm living it, okay? No doubt. I'm living it, I'm loving it, and I'm enjoying it. Remember, we are one people, regardless of where we are all Africans. Okay, we must have one love, one destiny, yeah, and of course, one unity, one Africa. I love you, and I thank you all so much for being here. You've been awesome. And I love you all so much. Liani Resurrection, thank you so much. Big love to you all. Big love, big love, big love. The one thing we do need is love and healing. Don't forget the books, okay? Don't forget the books, okay? Using existential counseling to heal. Very good book, reading it. And don't forget Credo Mutua, rest his amazing soul. May him rest in power, okay? let's get our heads back into where they should be, and that's loving each other. Okay, BlaXit family, I love you, and I'm really sorry about what YouTube is doing with the comments. There's not very much that I can do. Okay, all right, I love you. Bye.